Hey, Andrew, guess what?
What's that, Sam?
The Hurricanes love their shootouts.
The times they are a changing.
Yes, they are. I was hoping going into the game here at home against Philly that we weren't going to go into a shootout just because not only are they very stressful, but you just never know what's going to happen. I never thought Carolina would go 3-0 in the shootout. Would you think that?
No, I mean that's kind of been one of their kind of blemishes in the regular
Yeah.
season, where we've almost had to kind of hope that they get it done in overtime. What's been kind of funny is the first shootout, Jarvis wins with that crazy move that he did earlier in the year. The next two games, he abandons the move completely, and then Blake and Fetch scored by doing kind of like a knockoff of that move. So it's yeah, very surprising. The skills finally kind of translating to the shootout. So you love to see it.
Yes, you definitely do. So first things first, just remember we have a great partnership with SeatGeek. You get $20 off of your first purchase if you use promo code KNAC Reports, all one word. It's a great deal if you're trying to save money on some tickets. And remember, we have the KNAC Report Plus for those of you who are listening to us on Apple. It's a great way of listening to our show in a different format. It's without the ads. So if you really do not like the ads at all, that is definitely for you. And remember, the day after Christmas, because it is on a Thursday, there will be no episode of that day. And Andrew, we have quite a bit of news to talk about, specifically NHL news, because two trades happened since our last episode. Let's go with the minor trade, because this was basically a goalie swap between Edmonton and Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
Edmonton gets Tristan Jarry, along with, I believe, Samuel Poulin, and then Pittsburgh gets Stuart Skinner, Brett Kulak, and a 2029 second round pick. What are your thoughts on that trade?
Uh, I think Edmonton dropped the ball by not listening to our podcast. We had mentioned
Yep.
that Freddie might be a trade chip for them to consider. I'd rather have Freddie than Jari, with all due respect to Jari. For as inconsistent as Freddie has been lately, and for as much injury trouble as he's had, I mean Jari is just that, but not as good. So doesn't really move the needle for me a whole lot. I'm happy for Stuart Skinner to get kind of a fresh start. I do think he has potential to be a good goalie.
Yep.
But Edmonton, man, they're getting dangerously close to wasting over a decade with the best player of his generation, and I don't think that this trade moves the needle on that for me. I could be wrong. Jari has done it in the past, but in 2025, nah, not really.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mindset I think they were trying with this trade is okay, maybe a change of scenery for both players would help both teams. I think that's totally the mindset that they went. But at the same time, I mean, you look at the stats for both of those goals, it's like, eh, you really think this is going to move the needle? I mean, Pittsburgh doesn't care. I mean, they're not focused on making the playoffs, but Edmonton is. So it's just one of those things where you just never know. Now the big trade, Andrew. Or
Hmm.
is there anything else do you want to talk about with that Pittsburgh Edmonton
Uh,
trade?
no, I think we pretty much covered it. But again, Edmonton, if this Jari thing doesn't work out and quick, they need to make a big move because they're a goaltender away from winning a couple of cups now.
Yeah, they are. And I mean, speaking of like Tristan Jari, I mean, it's already young enough in the season, Andrew, to where like by trade deadline, you probably already know where you're going to get with Tristan Jari. If he doesn't work out, maybe there is maybe a trade partner there with us, maybe with Anderson. If we package Anderson with maybe a pick or a prospect or whatever, and maybe try and get a second line center. Again, this is all speculation, but I mean, it's young enough in the season to where it could not work out, you know?
Yeah, and I do like the teams have been making moves earlier.
Yep.
The next trade we're gonna get into with Hughes, their GM Rutherford, when he was with us, made those trades early in that cup winning season. So I do think that there is something to be said about buying your team as much time as possible to gel. Or as we saw last year, maybe even you get a guy, basically, date the player for a couple of weeks and be like, this is not going to be a happy marriage, and kind of scrap it early, like we did with Rantanen. But we'll see what happens. I hope Pittsburgh can figure it out. I think it's a shame that we haven't seen Kraz be in the playoffs, as much as that's been to our benefit, not having to play against
Yeah,
them
it has.
for the sport. That's a damn shame.
Yep, I completely agree. So the big trade here, Andrew. Quinn Hughes. Lots of speculation. We even talked about him in our last episode. But he finally gets traded. Gets traded to who? Minnesota. And Vancouver, they get Marco Rossi. So they get that second line center that they've been kind of wanting. A prospect in Ogren, Zeev Buum, who's a highly sought or has a very high potential of being a very excellent defenseman, and a 2026 first round pick. Do you think Vancouver got fleeced in this deal or not? Seems like that's the debate right now.
Um, whenever you're trading for young guys, there's always going to be that element of what if. But I think in terms of maximizing the potential return for Hughes, it was kind of the sooner you trade him, sorry, excuse me, the more term he's going to have, and therefore the better value you're going to get. And getting three bona fide top end, not even prospects, because Rossi's been in the league for a minute, but he's kind of, to me, he's just the more established Logan Staykoven, and that we know he is a center, but he's a smaller guy, and there are limits that can come with that. But it's better to decide to bottom out, get younger, give your prospects some actual playing time to grow, than to finish in 10th place for a decade and miss the playoffs forever. So Vancouver's being smart and not making that mistake.
Yeah, I mean Vancouver is not worked out for them at all. I would say one thing when it comes to that return that Vancouver got, Andrew, is I mean, I understand they're probably looking for a second line center, but at the same time, I'm just like, listen, you're dead last in this league. I think probably something better would be probably another prospect that Minnesota has or another first round pick, Because I just think Vancouver is one of those teams that really needs to go through like a retool, or at least a retool or a rebuild.
For sure, but Rossi's still a younger guy, so you
He
get
is.
two players that are bona fide prospects, and then a guy who I think is still kind of on that, not a prospect, but kind of prospect adjacent in Rossi, in that he still has a
Hmm.
lot of room to develop into something. And as far as the picks go, a pick is only as valuable as the team that you're getting it from. So even though this is a first round pick, if Minnesota goes on to win a cup, then that's basically a second round pick for all intents and purposes. But the one thing they have working in their favor, them being Vancouver, is that Minnesota is more than likely going to have to play either Dallas or Colorado in the first round, and I do not envy that. Even with as good as Kaprizov and Hughes are, I do not envy that.
No, I don't either. That makes that division even more lethal. I'm happy we're not in the Central, Andrew. I really am.
Yeah, it's definitely a tad top heavy, but I mean top heavy. Wow, those three teams. But since we're on the topic of divisions, I'm going to go ahead and speak on behalf of the entire Metropolitan division. They were calling us the Mid-Tropolitan all summer,
Hmm.
and I think it's the most competitive division in the NHL. I mean, that there's not a team in this division that if you went into a coma for 4 months, woke up and you found out that, oh, the Islanders and the Penguins are in the playoffs, you wouldn't be shocked. A little surprised, but you wouldn't be shocked.
Yeah.
Not at all.
No, definitely. I completely agree. But I think I saw Quinn Hughes. He scored his first goal for Minnesota tonight, and so did Zeev Buum for Vancouver. So we'll see how those trades work out, Andrew. But let's get to talking about the Hurricanes here. Uh, there is some new. Well, we do have quite a bit of some news here. One, so I actually I don't think I said this in the last episode, but just to be sure, I mean, Andrew, with Brandon Bussey, great story and all. I mean, he set that an NHL record of winning 10 wins in his first 11 games. I can't remember. Did we mention that in the last episode or not?
I don't remember, but even if we did, that's an accomplishment worth mentioning again.
Yeah.
And it's such an incredible story. You know, obviously us being Canes fans, it's gonna get harder, but something I love about sports in general is you do kind of get sort of like life lessons or things like that that you can translate
Hmm.
into anything. And 27 years old, buried in that Boston system where they had Jeremy Swayman, um, Olmark, and just a whole bunch of other goalies ahead of him. Easily could have said, "This is where I'm going to. This isn't going to work out." Could have caused a fuss and demanded a trade, but just went about his business, got better and better and better, and eventually an opportunity opened up for him. And I mean, look at him now. I mean, we both, well, me more than you, I think, because I'm a bit of a all right, well, let's settle down in the big picture here kind of guy. But my foot is off the brakes. I am on the bus. I am all behind this guy. I think him and Kachekov as a tandem, the way that they both look right now, I'm content with that. We'll see what happens, but right now I'm very content with where our goaltending is.
I am too. I'm probably just a little bit more like I just want to see more games of Brandon Bussey. That's just to me the big thing, and
For
I would
sure.
say probably to me the date to where I'm like, okay, I think he's probably the starter because for me it just takes longer just because goalies are just so unpredictable in this league. It's probably going to be the start of the new year. Like if he is still
Mm,
playing like this at the start of the new year, then I'm like, okay, I'm on the bus,
for
so
sure.
to speak.
For sure. I mean, after he did it against the Capitals, which that was a big game. The lights were on,
Yep.
division matchup. That was big. Um, and then I mean, give credit to where it's due, man. Philly is turning it around and fast. I mean, we won both these games in a shootout, but just compared to what they were last year, that team is on the rise. And both Kachekov and Bussy both had to play like really good games. I mean, we'll get into both of them obviously, but
Yeah.
um, uh, I think they have to give Freddie a couple more looks just because you never know. Because if he figures it out, maybe he is still the best option. But here and now, man, you lost your spot, buddy.
I know he really has. Another thing too, Andrew, is we have an extension to announce because you had Joel Nystrom. Now he got sent down back to the AHL, but that is good news, so to speak, because
Mhm.
Andrew's Jacob Slavin, he came back in the home game against Philly. Loves seeing him play again. But that Nystrom extension, Andrew, that's a very good extension. I think 4 years, $4 million contract, like that's $1 million each. Great deal.
Yeah, great deal. It gives him life-changing money. So, you know, you love seeing that for anybody. But way to step up, dude.
Oh yeah.
Like the lights weren't too bright for him. Even from the start, he was solid. And he went from being a guy who, you know, oh hey, he played, I didn't notice him, good job, to being where I mean, I think if Riley was on a two-way deal, he's going down instead. And I'm not even trying to give a slight to Mike Riley. I'm happy that he's on this team. He gives them great depth. But that Nikishin Nystrom pairing, which the fact that Rod would even put those two together is a compliment to
Yeah.
both of them because we know how Rod, at times to a flaw, values kind of seniority in these situations. Nystrom should be very proud of himself. Go down there, try to hone the more skill side of your game, and I think we'll be seeing him maybe not again this season because that means that an injury happens. So hopefully we don't. But I think he has a future in a Kane sweater.
Oh, I definitely do too. And I was even thinking about the future when they signed that contract, Andrew, because I'm like, you know what? Like, I mean, I don't see us moving on from any of our current defensemen, but I mean, you and I know the future is uncertain. You just never know as
Mm-hmm.
time continues. Like, let's say, and this is just an example. Let's say Chatfield somehow doesn't work out. Let's say like he gets hurt and he's just not the same from getting hurt. Again, example. This is not true. Uh,
Yeah.
but let's say that happens, then you can probably maybe a little bit more afford to lose Chatfield knowing you have Nystrom. So it's just something to think about.
Yeah,
It
and
gives you more
having
flexibility, more options.
oh yeah, for sure. And knowing that you have Nystrom in the minors, that you have Mike Riley as your 7D, and let's not forget about Charles Alexis Legault, who is also very impressive in his time here. It makes throwing in somebody to make a big trade to maybe fill that 2C more manageable now,
Mm-hmm.
because the only defensemen I see as untouchable are Slavin, Ghost, and I'll give him a soft untouchable to Nikishin. The other three, very good. There's no reason to trade them, but if that gets you back a bona fide 2C, then I would do that, knowing that you have those three guys coming up.
Exactly. And I mean, it's funny. I know we already talked about him, but apparently the Hurricanes were a little bit on Quinn Hughes. I mean, you and I know Hurricanes are always in on everything. But like,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you look at our defense, like it's not Quinn Hughes is not a need for this team, especially knowing how good Ghost has been. Like
Yeah,
it's not
no.
really a need.
If Ghost is playing in Canada right now, he's all over the NHL news.
Yes.
He is having the most underrated season in the league, and I don't feel like I'm being a homer by saying that at all. Over a point a game, I'm pretty sure, and has been playing with rookies and has been absolutely solid defensively. So, if you're an offensive minded defenseman, I don't know why you don't want to play for Rod Brindamore, because whether it's been Dougie, Brent, Burns, every offensive defenseman has come here and has just absolutely excelled. So, he's my we'll call it third of the way season MVP so far, Ghost.
Yep. And speaking of our defensemen, I mean, I already kind of touched on this, Andrew, but Slavin's back, so we are back to being fully healed. And he did not miss a beat. I'm saying Slavin played really good in this game.
Yeah, no, he looked quick. There were a couple of times where he had to kind of press up to stop the Flyers from making a breakout. So
Mm-hmm.
the knee looks good. He took a hit early from Hathaway, who's a bit of a goon. So first came back. You have to be happy with what we saw, and that Slavin Nikishin duo, that might be something that we need to get used to seeing. Maybe not
I
as a third pair role, but
in the future, it's something you could see.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I was wondering when it was announced Slavin was going to be a game time decision, Andrew. I was like, okay, where are they going to put him? Where the pair is going to be? They put him with Nagisha. Now, again, I don't think there is a bad choice in this, but um, I I mean, I was kind of leaning toward, hey, it'd be awesome, Slavin and Ghost.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, no, definitely. I think with Ghost, maybe you're worried about throwing off his game because of how well he's
Yeah,
been playing.
maybe. Yeah.
And with Nikishin, I mean, the best thing he can do is play alongside somebody like that and just take notes, man, because I think Slavin, his defensive prowess speaks for itself. If
Yep.
there's a one-on-one with between, if McDavid's coming down the ice and you can have anybody between him and your goalie, I don't think you're picking anybody over Slavin, like anybody in the league over
No.
Slavin. And his offensive side is actually kind of underrated. He doesn't really get to show it because he's usually been paired with a Dougie, D'Angelo,
Yep.
but there was that play in the playoffs he made where he strips the player, does like basically a 180 around him, and then does a sharp angle shot from the red line and just absolutely just paints the top near side corner. So I'm just so happy that he's back, man, and hopefully he can stay healthy because he's vital. I think without Slavin, we have to seriously re-evaluate our expectations for this season. He's that
Oh
important.
yeah. I completely agree. He really is that. He's a core player, and always has been under Brendan Moore's system. So Andrew, let's get to a sponsor, and then we'll recap the two Philadelphia games. Every yard, every sack, every interception, and every touchdown. With Pick 6, DraftKings' newest game, every snap can turn into a big-time payout. This isn't just watching the game. This is playing to win. Here's how it works. Pick more or less on 2 or more player stats. The better your picks, the bigger your payout. It's that simple. And here's the kickoff bonus. New DraftKings customers get $50 in Pick 6 credits with just a $5 entry on your first pick set. You know the game. Now make it pay. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN. Play just $5 and get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Make the call, ride the upside, in partnership with DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per customer. Bonus awarded as non-withdrawable Pick 6 credits that expire in 14 days. Terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer. All right, Andrew. The first game in the back-to-back of the Philadelphia games. So, us being at Philadelphia. Andrew, I thought the first period was a little bit iffy for the Canes, but eventually I thought they kind of got to their game in the second and third periods.
Yeah, they came out hot in the first and then just absolutely vanished.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes they did. Yeah, you're correct.
Yeah, it was one of those kind of moments where you go like, okay, is this gonna be one of those games where the Canes dominate and then just like can't beat the goalie or can't just finish a play? Luckily it didn't work out that way, but I mean, kudos to what's his name? Arison, their goalie.
Yeah.
Philly, man, they're going to be good and soon. I don't think it's this year, but they're making some good moves there.
They are, and I'm happy you reminded me of kind of the first half of that first period because I can tell you, Andrew, like I don't know how many times, but it seems like our number one enemy isn't the team we're up against; it's the post because we keep hitting the post so often where it doesn't work out for us.
Yep. Hopefully that's just the hockey god saving all of our puck luck for the playoffs. Hopefully,
I hope so. I hope so. Because I think I heard some stats saying that the Hurricanes were kind of the leading team in hitting posts that haven't really made it in. I'm just like, come on, man, that doesn't help.
Right, that's like one of those things that they're like, oh well, my team has to be the team that's doing this the most. And I feel like every fan base says that, but you're like, nope, it's actually you. You're actually the one hitting the post the most. You're a quarter inch away multiple times a night from putting up like 6 goals. So if you could just get it together a little bit, but with how many guys haven't really found their stride offensively, at least consistently. Looking at you, Sebastian Aho, but
he's giving me an aneurysm. Gosh,
I'm leaning on years of the opposite, and knowing that he's had seasons where I can see him scoring the goal in my head. I forget which year it was. There was that season where he started off with a pretty substantial amount of time without scoring a goal, and then he finally got through, and then the floodgates opened. He's just going through something. I don't know if it's an injury. Maybe he's got something going on in his personal life. Maybe just having a newborn at the house is just exhausting. Which that's everything. All my friends with kids keeps telling me. But he'll figure it out. But as soon as Aho gets going, because Jarvis and Svetch have both kind of found their game. So if he can be at his potential, that line's going to be dangerous, man.
Oh, it definitely is. And at least to have Jarvis on that first line, he's kind of taken over to be that probably 40 goal player this season, the way he's been popping those goals. But obviously, you end that first period, Andrew. I mean, it was tough because it's 2-0 Philadelphia. Yeah, Brink scoring, and you have Zegras scoring. And both of those goals, honestly, I don't really blame on Kachekov. I actually thought Kachekov made really good saves that game.
Yeah, no, I don't blame him on the first two at all. One was, kind of a blown assignment. Puck comes from behind the net to the slot. There's only so much you can do as a goalie, and the other one was just a beautiful shot, beautiful screen. And if you're gonna be accurate with the shot, then as a goalie, all you can really do is hope that you're in the right spot. Now, I will say on that goal and then the third goal, I thought Kachekov was played a little small.
I
He
agree
was,
with that.
yeah.
Yeah.
He was quick to go to the butterfly, I think, which, I mean, that has been a problem of his in the past, but he's been kind of fighting his health this year. So there's little things like that you'll get better with as you play more and then you get into more of a rhythm. So I'm not too worried about it, big picture. And if anything, I thought the way that he responded was very encouraging, because that's something I've always worried about with Kachekov, is he seems like he can get rattled.
Yes,
And
he
when he's
does.
when he's fired up and he's feeling like he's on top of the world, trying to fight Brad Marchand, all that kind of stuff, I think he's unbeatable. But he's proven that you get a couple of fluky ones by him, it can get ugly and quick. So kudos to him for hanging in there.
Yeah. And I mean, while I agree with you on the third goal, he probably played a little bit small there. I also thought too, like, I think that was a combination of him playing small and just how great of a shot that was from Gunstrom, because it was like just top shelf, like right above his shoulder.
Right. So if the biggest criticism you have is that he didn't play a 2-on-1 perfect shot, then I mean, you'll take that. But if
Oh yeah.
but the first two goals, no, there is nothing he can do about that. The third goal, I would have liked to see better, but I'm not going to hold it against him too much, especially with how he played the remainder of the game, and
Yes.
especially with how he played at the beginning of that second period, because they came out kind of flat in the second too, and he had to make some big saves to keep him in it.
Yeah, he definitely did. Now, eventually, Carolina was able to get to their game, and that kind of extended into a third period. You have Ehlers scoring from Ghost, and Andrew, I would say, like, out of all of our top six players, I am just loving Ehlers' game. Like, he is really showing just how good he is and how fast he is.
Yeah, his speed is crazy, and with Blank and Stankoven with them, I mean, that line is so fast. Which while I'm mentioning them, these last two games, I have liked Stankoven's game a lot more. Still not totally sold on him at
Yep.
2C, but I think he's been much more noticeable. The issue with me has never been the player. It's just I'm not sure about where he's positioned. But Ehlers, yeah, he, a little bit of concerns to start the year. Looked like he was doing good, but just was the opposite of puck luck for him, basically. But since then, now that he's found his stride, he looks a little bit more comfortable. He is everything as advertised. He is made in a factory to be a Hurricane.
Oh, he definitely is. I really do like Ehlers, and it's interesting because, like, I mean, I'll bring up Martin Netches because, again, like, he was with us for quite some time. He
Mm-hmm.
was drafted by us. Like, before Ehlers came in, we had Netches. Netches was kind of that fast guy. The only thing with Netches is he will go on these long scoring droughts, and my gosh, he could not handle the puck. But with Ehlers, he can handle the puck consistently while flying high. He's like a more polished version of Netches, you know?
Yeah, Nate just may have a touch more of, let's call it highlight reel play
Yes, I would
ability.
agree with that.
Yeah, like his wraparound goals that he scores are such a thing of beauty and so impressive. But Ehlers just plays it a touch smarter than Nature's, I think. I mean,
Hmm.
it's wild to say that he's better in Nature some way, because Nature's, granted, alongside Nathan McKinnon, but I don't want to take anything away from what he's doing in Colorado. He's not with us anymore, but I'm still a big fan of the player.
No, I
But
am too.
but when we moved on from him last year before they got Ehlers, you could tell not having that forward with the ability to speed into the offensive zone and create space to get it set up, that really hindered this team from being able to do more than just dump and chase, which granted they do probably
Yeah.
better than any team in the league. But when you become one dimensional, I don't care how good you are at something, you can stop it. So the further along he comes, the more chemistry he builds, especially if he stays on that second power play unit, which has been, kind of a breath of fresh air. Yeah, I think Ehlers could be one of the missing pieces to this team finally getting over the hump.
Yeah, definitely. And then you have Nikishin scoring from Nystrom and Hall, and it's nice to see him taking a hard slap shot. And he did it again tonight. Just
Mm-hmm.
he just needs to fire the puck more. He has the shot, and he showed it in both games against Philly.
Yeah, and we've been talking about that the last few episodes about how he's just seems like he had become a little bit timid about letting his shot go. Maybe that's a coaching decision. Maybe they're telling him to be smarter with the shots because there is something to be said about, especially in overtime, but just in general, whenever you're a defenseman and you let a bomb go like that, if you miss wide and it ricochets off the backboard, that can lead to a breakout the other way. And if you're a defenseman who's still kind of learning the rotation of the Hurricane system, I can maybe see that being something that happens. But 2 games in a row now, just putting the shot on net. And it wasn't like he even, painted the top corner on like, some Chris Pronger type of shot. It's just put it on net with force and you get good luck sometimes. And that's not to take away from the skill it takes to do it, but that's what these 2 goals were. You put it in net with traffic and look at that. It went in. So I hope he keeps doing it. I hope he keeps doing it. He and go figure his fellow Russian Svechnikov for 2 guys I'm really excited about come playoffs because I think the nastiness that they're both capable of playing with, they could be a lot of fun to watch, man.
Oh, they really could. And I mean, another guy that's nastiness is Miller. So it's going to be interesting to see him in a
Mm-hmm.
playoff team because he's thrown some big hits. In fact, I think he threw a big hit in that Philadelphia game that we're recapping away. And another thing too, I mean, we're talking about Nikishin. I mean, with Grundstrom, sorry, I butchered his name. Grunstrom scoring on that 2-1, you can kind of fault that a little bit on Nikishin because he kind of did cheated, and you can tell kind of the coach like Tim Gleason, Brendan Moore, they noticed that, and because of that, his ice time was actually reduced after that play.
Mm.
So it
Yeah, Brindamore, his what level of leash he gives players has always been kind of interesting.
it is. I will admit.
Because it seems like he has a very short one for a Nikishin. Svechnikov at times, I think, has gotten away with some subpar play, which I'm not trying to throw shade at him now. I think he's been excellent the last couple of weeks, even when he's not getting on the score sheet. He's still impactful, what you need from a guy like that. But in Rod we trust, but if there's one thing that I kind of scratch my head about sometimes, it's which players he gives kind of the benefit of the doubt to. Granted, rookie, I'm sure the language barrier is still kind of there. So maybe just from Rod's perspective, this is the only way I can really fully get through to him because I can't sit
Yeah.
down and have a heart to heart with the guy. All I can do is give him the stick, as an old coach of mine would say. But potential's through the roof with that guy. I think he is going to very quickly become a all-time great for this team, and I really hope I'm not jinxing him, but I am so excited about Nikishin.
Oh, I really am too. He's really shown just how great he can be with that shot. And in the third period, obviously, Andrew, you have Jarvis scoring from Svech and Ghost. That was a great pass from Svech to Jarvis. And what a filthy play that he does. It's the same play that he kind of did, funny enough, I believe, at Colorado and one other game I can't remember fully. But that seems to be mostly Jarvis's go-to move right there. with like going forehand and backhand and then forehand and scores, you know?
Yeah, but you mentioned it, but we need to take a second to really give it the credit that it's due. That pass by Svetch, just
Yes.
one touch off the boards, through a couple of Philly defenders, just and put Jarvis just wide open like that. So again, Svetch, I don't know what was going on with you to start the year. Whatever you did to change your mojo, maybe give it to Aho, but
Yes.
but even then, with Aho, we've talked about it before. Like, we know there's a level to his game that he can get to, but you look at the stat sheet and it's like, well, that's really not that bad. So we should all struggle like Sebastian Aho.
Mm-hmm.
But man, that line, man, there's so many things about this team where I'm so excited that we're only in game, like I think low 30s out of 82. So they still have time to gel. They still have time to get it to click, but there's so much potential here that if I'm Rod, I'm kind of like, he hasn't been quite the same Rod Blundemore this season.
Yeah, Blendamore. Yeah.
I think he sees it. I think he sees, okay, I just got to give these guys time to cook. Because once he made that Ehlers Svetch swap, it's been, just a matter of them getting the consistency, and you get that with time.
I completely agree with that. And obviously, we go into an overtime, Andrew. Nothing materializes from both teams. And then the shootout, and nobody scores in that shootout except for Jackson Blake. What a great goal that was, and we win it. And man, shootouts. The thing is, you just never know.
you never know, but kudos to Kachekov for back-to-back poke checks, man. He hasn't been using that move quite as much, which we all love seeing, the diving poke checks, him getting pissed off at the other team. But if he can become smarter with those plays and still have that being a very big part of his arsenal, that's what's going to help him get to that next level. And I think we saw that a little bit in this game.
Yeah, we did. Like, I mean, that poke check he made, I believe it was on it might have been on because quite a few players came out for Philly. Connect I think it might have been Brink that he might have stopped that save on. But man, that was so elite, and we won that game. So we won at Philadelphia. And now, Andrew, let's recap the game against Philadelphia here at home. Brandon Bussey starts in that, so we're obviously very excited as we are very, very cold heading to the stadium. It was like in the 20s today.
Wow. Well,
that's nothing compared to what you guys have up there in Boston, but for us, it's cold.
Listen, I'll take this moment to apologize for the monster that is powering me through this episode. So we're recording this later than we usually would for a 5 p.m. game, which thank you, Sam, for your patience. I was in a plow truck for about 14 hours today, so I don't want to hear, oh, it was cold. No, I hate to be that northerner guy yelling at the North Carolinians about the snow. I hate to do it because I've been on the other end of it so much, but no. Put on a hat, you'll be okay.
The thing is, I didn't put on a hat at all, so. But
I've had this on. Look at this. Look at how big my hair is right now, dude. It's crazy. Usually I would not wear a hat inside. So whenever you see this, know that me attempting to grow my hair out because I'm aging and I'm fighting it with every ounce of my being. Yeah, that's what this is. This is me giving y'all a little bit of a behind the scenes look.
Oh, that's funny. Alrighty. Well, the Hurricanes, another shootout victory. And Andrew, I actually thought Carolina in this game for the majority of the game, I thought Carolina was excellent. It's just you can tell. I mean, one, Philadelphia is good. We've realized that in these two games, but I do think, and I'll say probably mostly. I wonder if it was Carolina probably being maybe just a little bit tired just because of the length of the last two games, maybe. But I really thought they were fighting the puck. in this game, and they had so many chances to where it really could have been like maybe 5-1 Carolina. Like they had so many chances, they just could not score. And you and I kind of talked about like Aho trying to rebound. I got frustrated with him in this game because I remember there was one time in overtime where Philadelphia player didn't have his stick and Aho was right there. I'm like, shoot the puck, but he didn't.
Yeah, he's definitely fighting his confidence a little bit, but I'm sure the second because it's gonna happen. We know it's gonna happen because everything about his career backs it up, and this isn't a Freddie Anderson situation where you have to acknowledge that he's older. No, he's very much in his prime. But yeah, Aho right now he's kind of the missing ingredient to this team really going off because the rest of the team is I wouldn't go as far as say clicking on all cylinders, but they're doing enough that if Aho can get going, they can make a little bit of separation here. Especially now that Slavin's back. We have two goalies that are playing pretty well, and you never know what's going to happen with Freddie. So you have three legitimate options in that. And the depth scoring, we're going to talk about it, but I think we're starting to kind of see how much of a difference maker Carrier could have been last year because he's awesome, and especially for the playoffs, that dude's going to be a monster.
Oh yeah, I do love Carrier. Like to me, he's a player that you can tell by the way he plays. He's a player that is meant for the playoffs, and it makes sense. He won a Stanley Cup already with Vegas before we got him. So knowing that he has that Stanley Cup experience, I do think is going to help this team, especially in the playoffs. But that goal, Andrew, that was a very nice goal that he kind of found loose in the mass of humanity right there, kind of in front of. It wasn't Erickson that played. It was Vladar that played for Philly. And then you have Taylor Hall scoring again, Nikishin with a bomb. What's funny in that play, because I was at that game, when Jackson Blake had the puck, I was like, give it to Nicky for a bomb right before, and he actually did it. And Nicky, because you can tell you notice when he's about to take a shot, he raises his stick up behind his back. And
he calls for it almost.
Yeah, he kind of calls for it, and he eventually did it. And Hall with a beautiful tip, 2-0 Canes. And Andrew, like, we're feeling good right now.
Yeah, no. Hopefully these last two games for Nikishin really get his confidence going because that shot's too good, man. If you have an open lane, I make it the responsibility of everyone else on the ice to have their head up because that boy needs to shoot every chance that he gets.
Oh, he does. Now, Philadelphia, again, I kind of really thought Carolina was the better team mostly through this game. But, I mean, they find ways to score. Drysdale, that was a frustrating goal because, I mean, it came right off of Carrier's stick. Funny enough, I had a Kings fan next to me saying, well, it looks like Carrier scored 2 goals this game.
Right. And the second one was honestly strangely more impressive than the first one. That was a great tip. It just went the wrong way. But you could tell, and I mean we've all had these moments in life where you do something and you immediately are like, why did I do that? For me it's telling a joke to my girlfriend and being like, she didn't think that was funny at all. And then looking over, you're like, nope, she sure did it. It was one of those moments for Carrier where you could tell before the puck even went and he was like, what am I doing? But I'm a professional athlete. I know better. Then he turns around and goes, yep, there it is. Sorry, Bussy. I bet Bussy was just giving him dirty looks that whole intermission because
I'm sure.
Stopping a deflection from the other guys is hard enough. Your own teammates are about pulling that off on you. That's crazy.
I know. It really is. So, I mean, Drysdale scoring, and I was hoping this game was not going to go into a shootout, Andrew. I was praying that multiple times in this game. And you know what? It eventually did get into the shootout because they tied it. You have Trevor Seagrass tying it. And honestly, like, to me, almost with the same thing with Kochetkov, even though I think if you compare the two performances, I thought Bussy obviously played better than Kochetkov in this game. But, like, you can't blame Bussy on both of those goals. Just can't. One was a tip from your own guy, and the
Hmm.
other, like, I mean, it was just the puck found Zegras, which found an open net.
Yep, and it's kind of funny that it worked out that way because in the overtime of the past game, Zegras actually kind of whiffed on a very similar opportunity in
He does.
overtime the last game. He and I forget who made the pass, but they were actually kind of bickering at each other afterwards. So kind of one of those, funny things always even out kind of goals for Zegras, who I was a little surprised because he's known as being kind of a more finesse player. I think mostly just because of being a video game cover
Yep.
guy, the lacrosse goals, the alley oop pass goal. Um, he's got some feistiness to him, man. I think he's turning into a good prototypical Flyer player. But yeah, you can't blame Bussy for that. They had the extra attacker. They used it to perfection. Great play, great pass, and I'll say it one more time because I hate giving another team too much credit as much as we've been doing it this episode. But
Hmm.
Philly fans, even if it's not this year, stay positive. They're turning it around and turning it around quick.
Oh yeah, they definitely are. And Rick Tocchet, who's their head coach, has really implemented a very, very good system. And honestly, in the overtime, nobody scores. And then shootout once again, and Andrew, the only goal that is scored is the game-winning goal. Obviously, when it comes to the shootout, but you have Svechnikov scoring. What a great goal that was! And I'll say the highlights in that shootout: the goal from Svech, and boy, that save on Dvorak from Brandon Bussy. My gosh, what a
Hmm.
great save! I, I mean, did you think there were any other highlights in that shootout?
I think those are the two big ones. Something I've noticed about Bussy because he's made a few saves where this has come into play. He's very good at whenever he needs to make a quick pad save going the other way, not only of extending with that dominant leg, but of bringing that second leg back over to support. There was that save he had a few games ago where that second leg came in and actually he had to lift it to kick
Yeah.
the puck out. You might remember.
Hmm.
If he doesn't bring that back leg over to kind of back up the leg that makes contact with the puck, it's very possible that just because of the speed and the force of the shot that it trickles in. So a little bit of a goaltending nerd thing to point out there, but that technique he has with that is excellent. He The only thing about Bussy that worries me is there's times
The
where
puck
it's
handling.
well that too actually,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
there's times he's a little sprawl happy, if that makes any sense. He's a little loosey goosey, kind of fumbling around in his own net after a save, which I think that will come with time. It might just be how he plays. So some guys
yeah.
kind of
Mhm.
thrive in that kind of more chaotic style, but um,
I think I get what you're saying. It's just he's not known for being a very aggressive goalie like a Chekhov, like Mrazek, even. He's more
right,
of a calmer goalie.
which is why it's concerning that he still does that then, because like
Mhm.
if it was like a Chekhov or a Mrazek, them
It
kind of
makes
doing
sense.
that, it's all part of their thing. I do like that Piotr is smart enough to not get himself clocked at his own blue line like Mrazek did a handful
Yeah.
of times, which we mentioned before. My cat Raz, who's actually looking at me right now. Funnily enough, we don't speak ill of Peter Mrazek in this house, but
Yep, yep. But yeah, two great wins that definitely oh man. The shootouts they get me going because they're so intense. And the overtimes. But
yeah, people don't like
whew.
him, and I've never really understood that. I mean, I hate ties. If I wanted to watch a tie, I would watch soccer, which
Yeah.
it's
Hmm.
which it's soccer, and I
Yeah.
will be a proud American and have that on my tombstone. But it's got to be settled. You can't just have these guys play for 20 minutes 3-on-3, and injuries are going to happen. The travel schedule they have is insane. Let's end it with something. Why not have it be a skills competition?
Yeah. So well. I kind of disagree with you on that, to be honest, just because.
Well, you're wrong,
I
Sam.
mean, yeah, I know. I mean, the one thing is the skills competition. I'm not a big fan of a skills competition just because it deviates so much from the actual play of the game. And honestly, I think if they extended the overtime by like an extra 2 minutes, just like an extra 2 minutes, I think we go into shootouts way less, in my opinion.
That aspect I do agree with. I do think that if they just make it a 10-minute overtime and make it 3-on-3, maybe even make it, the first 5 minutes is 3-on-3, the second 5 minutes it's 2-on-2, and if that doesn't settle it, then okay, fine, shootout. So
Yeah.
I do agree with that aspect, but
and I would insert a shoot clock in the overtime too, because it's gotten boring at times. I'm like, okay, come on, we shoot the puck.
Right, the cycling back.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would do a shot clock. I just don't know if that works with the flow of hockey, but I would like to take another inspiration from basketball. Maybe once you cross center ice, you can't go back over. So if you are going to reload, you have to do it in the limited space of that half of a neutral ice, because it's when they bring it all the way back to their own end. Which I get why they do it, but possession is so important. But just for the sake of getting these games to actually come to a conclusion, so that the shootouts can become a little bit more of a novelty. Oh, cool! We haven't seen one of these in a while type things, instead of getting it, 3 games in a row. Like, that would never happen. Haha. But yeah, I think there's things they could do to make it better. But that being said, I do enjoy them when they happen.
Yeah. I mean, I do too. What is that called? They call it in basketball when you go behind the halfway point.
Over and back.
It is over and back. Oh, I thought it was like something violation or something. I can't remember.
Backcourt violation, I've heard it be called.
Yes,
over and back. It's one of those things where there's a couple of different ways to call it.
Okay, I heard the backcourt violation. That's what I heard. So I don't follow basketball at all. So yep. Alrighty. Well, Andrew, great episode, and hopefully we can win it Wednesday at Nashville before our next episode. And we have the Florida games this weekend, upcoming weekend. So we'll see how that goes. We will see you guys. Oh, anything else you want to say?
Nope. I was just going to throw my hat in the air for a dramatic effect, but now it's just goofy. Laugh at it, everybody. This is what snow work does to you. It's big, it's puffy, and I'm going to go to bed.
Yep. Good night, everybody. We will see you guys Friday.